Alright, so the final character of Season 7 has finally arrived to Shinobi Striker, and I'm of course talking about the puppet master himself, Sasori. Sasori is the first puppet character in the game, and his whole playstyle revolves around dealing poison damage, which decreases the enemy's health even after the attack is finished. I have quite a few thoughts about this new character, so let's get into it. Now, just before we talk about Sasori, let's quickly mention some of the other stuff that came along with this update. First of all, there's a new balance patch, and here are the most notable things from it in my opinion. Detonation twin birds got buffed, increasing the speed of the birds and lowering the cooldown, and honestly I think this makes the jutsu pretty top tier, as I would have considered it pretty good already even before this patch. Chakra Scalpel got a debuff in the form of reducing how long the effect of the jutsu lasts, which makes sense in my opinion, the jutsu was kind of overpowered. Finally, Steam Ip got buffed by increasing the damage and lowering the cooldown, making it even more viable than it already was. There were other updates as well, but I think these are the most interesting ones. One final update is also the addition of a new map into the game, that being the fan favorite Final Valley map. Now, I wasn't able to get the map while playing the game, so you're currently watching gameplay footage that I stole off of YouTube, but from what it looks like, it seems like a pretty big map, being split into the upper and lower part of the Final Valley alongside with some caves in between. I honestly think this map looks great. It's probably my favorite location from the anime and I can't wait to play on it. Alright, let's get into the most important part of this update, Sasori himself. The first new thing Sasori brings into the game is a new weapon, that being the puppet of the third Kazekage. And honestly, I think this is arguably one of the best things about the DLC, because this weapon is pretty great in my opinion. First of all, the melee combos with this thing are very decent, allowing you to continue the combo for quite a while. Most importantly though, the strong attack is nuts. You shoot out sand projectiles in a spread pattern, followed by a black sand cone. All of these projectiles deal poison damage. Added with the fact that you can spam this attack endlessly, I have to say that this is one of the best strong attacks for range types in my opinion. Plus, it straight up makes you puppeteer, how is that not super cool? Alright, let's get into Sasori's jutsu, the first being Thousand Hands. This jutsu has two parts. First, it turns you into the third Kazekage puppet, basically giving you free flight for 8 seconds. Secondly, after pressing the jutsu button again, you swing at the targeted opponent and inflict poison damage to them with another follow-up attack that makes the puppet extend its many arms. This is a pretty great jutsu in my opinion. While you're in the flight stage of the jutsu, you're mostly invulnerable, apart from some jutsu that cancel out the puppet, meaning that it provides pretty neat utility. The damage this jutsu deals is nothing to scoff at for a range type either. Plus, you don't actually have to hit the opponent with the first swing for the follow-up attack to activate, meaning that it's pretty hard to miss with this jutsu. On top of that, that follow-up attack is unblockable, even going through jutsu like Sand Shield. The jutsu also reduces healing effects for the hit opponent, meaning that the inflicted poison damage is gonna cause some harm as well. This attack basically feels like a much better version of Orochimaru's Snake Thrust attack. I wouldn't call this jutsu broken or anything, but it's definitely a viable choice for range types in my opinion. Okay, let's move on to the second jutsu in Sasori's arsenal, that being Iron Sand Unleash. This is yet another two-stage attack. The first part makes you shoot out a big lump of iron sand, dealing damage to the hit enemy while also poisoning them and reducing healing effects. Afterwards, it creates a rectangle made of iron sand above the hit opponent that, after pressing the jutsu button again, causes it to explode into multiple iron sand thorns, once again dealing damage and applying poison to anyone hit. This is probably my favorite ninjutsu out of Sasori's arsenal. The first projectile has incredible range and very decent tracking as well, meaning it's not at all a problem to land it. But the best part of this jutsu has to be the second stage, which I think is the biggest AoE attack in the game, which is not an ultimate. Sure, it doesn't exactly deal a crazy amount of damage, but you're gonna be hitting multiple people with this jutsu, meaning you're gonna be poisoning a big part of the enemy team. Not only that, the second part is also unblockable, meaning that the only way to dodge it is being outside of range or using something like Jiraiya's Chizo. Overall, just a great jutsu, plus it looks really cool, which is always an upside. Last but not least, let's talk about Sasori's ultimate, Performance of 100 Puppets. It makes you fly up into the air, summoning 100 puppets that all charge the targeted opponent, dealing a bunch of damage and also applying the poison debuff. I'm not gonna lie, this ultimate is pretty disappointing. Don't get me wrong, I think it looks pretty cool, but it's not unique in basically any way. You just simply press a button and hope the puppets hit the targeted opponent, which happens most of the time but not always. Not to mention, this ultimate takes way too long for not even being a one-hit kill. You're gonna get it once in the majority of games, maybe twice in a really long one. But there's so many better ultimates out there for range types right now. And even if it was a guaranteed kill, it still wouldn't be that great in my opinion. I think if they patched it by reducing the secret technique gauge and making it a one-hit kill, it would be pretty good, but as it is right now, it's just kind of underwhelming. Alright, so that's everything Sasori brings into the game. Do I think he's worth it as a DLC? Probably. He's not a must buy, but he's a good addition into the game, especially if you main range types. He's definitely not as broken as the newly released characters have been for the past couple of DLCs, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. He's a pretty balanced character, maybe apart from his ultimate, which is lackluster. Nonetheless, we finally have a puppeteer in the game, and for the first of his kind, I think Sasori does a pretty good job. Anyway, that's it for the video. Let me know in the comments what you personally think of Sasori, and if you enjoyed the video then make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all soon. Bye!